Good day to everyone. Today we are the group 3 and we will be talking about the early education of Rizal. So along with me are my members, Cuerda Fritz Lois, Cueva Aljun, and me, Chavez James Vincent. Rizal had his early education in Calamba and Biñan. So in the time of the Spanish era, the education of Rizal was characterized by the 4 R's, wherein he is using reading, writing, arithmetic, and religion. And during that time, instruction was rigid and strict, and to force the knowledge by the teachers is by using any means. So whether it is physical, so an example would be the teacher's whip, so that the instruction and knowledge will be taught thoroughly. When Rizal was young, he was said to be born a physical weakling, wherein throughout the later years he rose to become an intellectual giant, not because of, but rather in spite of the outmoded and backward system of instruction. So due to the strict methods of the old era, Rizal was made into an intellectual giant due to the system that was made during the Spanish regime. So the first teacher of Rizal was his mother. She was known as a woman of good character and fine culture. So as a tutor, Doña Teodora was patient, conscientious, and understanding. Because of this, Rizal was able to learn a lot of things, and due to his mother, it was discovered that her son had a talent for poetry. And after discovering this talent, his mother encouraged him to write poems. To lighten the monotony of the memorizing the ABCs that we have today and to stimulate her son's imagination, she related this to many stories. To further add information, Rizal, at a young age, also loved staying at the libraries, wherein, also to add, Rizal loved listening to the folklores and myths that is told to him. As Jose Rizal grew older, his parents later employed him private tutors to give him lessons at home. Since they were part of the Principalia class, they had the authority for their sons to have private tutors. So the first tutor was Maestro Celestino and followed by Maestro Lucas Padua. Later on, an old man named Leon Monroy, a former classmate of Rizal's father, wherein after becoming the boy's tutor, the old teacher lived at the Rizal home and taught Rizal Spanish and Latin. Unfortunately, he did not live long and died 5 months later. After Monroy's death, the hero's parents decided to send their gifted son to a private school in Biñan, which will be further discussed by Cuerda Fritz.
Hello everyone, I am Decadet Fritz Luis Cuerda and I'm going to be presenting to you the continuation of Decadet Chavez's presentation, which is Rizal's journey to Biñan. So, one Sunday afternoon in June of 1869, Jose, after kissing the hands of his parents and a bit tearful parting from his sister, left Calamba for Biñan. He was accompanied by Pasiano, who acted as his second father. The two brothers rode in a caromata, reaching their destination after 1.5 hours drive. They proceeded to their aunt's house, where Jose was to lodge. It was almost night when they arrived, and the moon was about to rise. So on that time, when Rizal left Calamba, he first parted with his parents and his sister, and he was accompanied by Pasiano Rizal, who was his older brother. And the two brothers rode in a caromata. A caromata is a type of a two-wheeled vehicle which is pulled by a horse and is also known as the kalesa. And it took them 1.5 hour drive to get to their destination, which is in their aunt's house, which is where Jose was to lodge. And it was almost night when they arrived, and the moon was about to rise. So that time it was almost dusk, I think, or about 6 p.m. As I estimated. So let's proceed. The next one is first day in Biñan school. The next morning, Monday, Pasiano, who is his older brother, brought his younger brother to the school of Maestro Justiniano Aquino Cruz. The school was in the house of the teacher, which is a small nipa hut about 30 meters from the home of Jose's aunt. Immediately, Jose was assigned in his seat in the class. The teacher asked him, "Do you know Spanish?" "A little, sir," replied Jose Rizal. "Do you know Latin?" "A little, sir." The boys in the class, especially Pedro, the teacher's son, laughed at Jose's answers. The teacher sharply stopped all the noises and began the lesson of the day. So, the next morning, on his first day of school of Rizal, he was accompanied by his brother to go to school. And on the first day of Rizal's school, he was asked by his teacher if he knows he knows how to speak Spanish or he knows how to speak Latin, and Rizal replied that he only speaks a little, which at that time Rizal was still young, he was still learning. But some of his other classmates laughed at him, especially the one who is the son's teacher, which is Pedro. And at that time, Pedro was a bully to Rizal. So the teacher was angry and he stopped all the noises and began the lesson of the day. So let's proceed. Jose described his teacher in Biñan as follows. He was tall, thin, long neck with sharp nose and body slightly bent forward. And he used to wear a sinamay shirt woven by the skilled hand of a woman of Batangas. He knew by the heart of the grammars by Nebrija and Gainza. Add to severity that my judgment was exaggerated and you have a picture, perhaps vague, that I have made of him, but I remember only this. And the first school brawl in the afternoon of his class in school, when the teacher was having his siesta, Jose met the bully Pedro. He was angry at this bully for making fun of him during his conversation with the teacher this morning. So Rizal described his teacher as tall, thin, long neck with sharp nose and a body slightly bent forward, and he used to wear sinamay shirt woven by the skilled hand of a woman Batanga. So his teacher was a Spanish person, which who wears a sinamay shirt, which is sinamay shirt is a popular clothing in the late 18s in the Philippines. And at that time, Jose Rizal was very observant on anyone, and he was also judgmental. So in the first school brawl in the afternoon, he met the kid who bullied him, Pedro. He was so angry at Pedro that he wanted to fight him. He wanted to have a fist fight with him. Rizal was very sensitive, and he would hold a grudge with anyone. And that time, when the teacher was having his siesta, a siesta is a Spanish term for resting and napping. And then he wanted to fight Pedro after he met him, because the reason for this is because Pedro was making fun of him during his conversation with the teacher. So let's proceed. Jose challenges Pedro to a fight. He later accepted, thinking he could easily beat the Calamba boy who was smaller and younger. The two boys wrestled furiously in the classroom, much to the glee of their classmates, Jose having the art of wrestling from his athletic Tio Manuel, defeated the bigger boy. For this feat, he became the popular among his classmates. So, that time, as I said, Jose Rizal was always holds a grudge with his classmates. So he fought Pedro, but he got underestimated by Pedro because he was smaller than Pedro and younger. So the two boys fought, but Rizal has the upper hand. He has the experience of combat, which is wrestling, which he learned from his athletic Tio Manuel, or also known as Manuel Rizal, who is his uncle. So, for this reason, he became a popular student in their class. So that would be all in my presentation.
Good day, I'm the Cadet Cueva, and I am the continuation of the discussion of the Cadet Chavez and the Cadet Corda. So, after the first brawl ni Rizal sa classroom, away nila Pedro og ni Rizal. So, nasa kanang na kasugad si Rizal. Dili siya away pero matawag lang siya na arm wrestling or kanang gabit na kamot usganay. So, kini day kay si Andres Salandanan. So after ni Pedro og ni Rizal kay sunod si Andres Salandanan, gihagad siya ni Andres Salandanan na mag-arm wrestling. So after the class in the afternoon, a classmate named Andres Salandanan challenged him to an arm wrestling match. They went to a sidewalk of a house and wrestled with their arms. Jose, having the weaker arm, lost and nearly cracked his head on the sidewalk. So si Rizal, napildi siya og arm wrestling ni Andres Salandanan kay si Rizal dili mo siya ingon na pinakakusgan or kusgan na weak, di man kay siya kanang kusgan gyud na kanang para ni Andres Salandanan na kusgan. So napildi siya ni Andres Salandanan na og arm wrestling, napildi si Jose ni Andres. Then, in succeeding days, he had over another fights with the boys of Biñan. So, si Rizal, sa sunod na adlaw na napod siya laing mga nakaway na estudyante sa Biñan or mga Biñan boys. Dili siya ingon na estudyante pero mga Biñan boys. So, si Rizal, sige siya kanang kakitag mga away. Pero dili gud na ingon na si Rizal kay kuan gud kanang palaaway or kanang sige lag pangitag kanang away or ganahan og kanang gubot. Si Rizal lang gyud kay ug naay kanang mohagad niya, dili siya mo ganang moatras, ganahan kanang musukol gyud siya. Dili si Rizal ganahan na magpalupig or pagpapildi sa uban. In succeeding days, he had other fights with the boys of Biñan. He was not quarrelsome by nature, but he never ran away from a fight. So si Rizal, dili gud siya mo away o dili gud siya mo atras sa mga away. Mao gyud na. Maong sige siya kakitag gubot or kakitag sumbagay. Next is Jose's daily routine in Biñan. So, Jose's daily routine is very simple. Mura sa ganang kita ang life ni Rizal, daily routine, mura sa kita mga normal tao kay si Rizal, usaram sad ka estudyante or usaram sad ka tao or estudyante, so normal sad kayo yung daily routine. So, Jose had a methodical life in Biñan, almost Spartan in simplicity. Such a life contributed much to his future development. It strengthened his body and soul. Speaking of his daily life in Biñan, he recorded in his memoirs. So, si Rizal, sa iyang memoir na siya gisuwat So diri mo yung giingon. Here was my life. I heard the 4 o'clock mass, if there was any, or I studied any lessons at that hour, and I went to mass afterwards. So kung dili man guys siya mosimba ika alas 4, mag-study siya. I returned home and I went to the orchard to look for a mabolo to eat. Mabolo is a fruit. Mabolo is a fruit na color red. Mura siya kadak-ag mga peach. Pero dili ingon siya dako. Pero mo siya kadak-ag mga chicos. Pero color red siya. Dili po siya apple. There I took breakfast, which consisted generally of a dish of rice and 2 dried small fish. So, ayan pamaw kay kanon og duha ka buhat. And I went to class, from which I came out at 10 o'clock. I went home at once. If there was some special dish, Leonardo and I took some of it to the house of his children, which I never did at the home, nor would I ever do it. So, manasiyag eskwela, muli siya unya. Kung naay pagkaon, so magdala sila kuyog si Leonardo. And I returned without any saying a word. I ate with them and afterwards I studied. I went to school at 2 and came out of 5. I prayed a short while with some nice cousins and I returned home. I studied with my lessons. I drew a little and afterwards I took my supper consisting of 1 or 2 dishes of rice with anayungin. So after skulahan, moadto siya siyang cousin para maglaag unya mauli na sad niya manihapon na two ayungin. Ayungin is a fish. So dan ni Rizal ka ayungin isda pero wala giingon rin na yun sa pagluto pero ayungin fish daw. We prayed and there was a moon. We prayed and if there was a moon, my nieces invited me to play it in the street together with others. Thank God that I never got sick away from my parents. So kung hayag dagbuan, kanang kuyugon daw si Rizal siya mga pagmangko na magduwa sa gawas kay sa una kanang kuryente mga street lights wala pa bayan sa una. So kung naibuwan hayag kayo. So mura sag na hayag kayo pwede sila magduwa pero karon na pero sa una na wala may kanang street lights unya wala pa buwan so hingkit kayo din sila kaduwa. So mo siya thank God that I never I never got sick away from my parents. So next is best student in school. In academic studies, he beat all Biñan boys. He surpassed them all in Spanish, Latin, and other subjects. So si Rizal sa na siya kanang na best student siya sa iyang skulan. So napili niya tanang mga Biñan boys sa estudyante sa iyang skulan. Na to the point na pagsilosan na siya sa mga seniors kay kuan siya best student mi siya so dako gyud siya grado sa subject sa Latin, Spanish ug other ubang mga subject so favorite so kung na magani ang estudyante so favorite kay sa maestra o mga maestro so o kanang so mo na silosan si Rizal sa iyang mga senior students or sa iyang mga seniors so og nay kanang away og nay makaaway si Rizal so isumbong din siya unya og isumbong siya so kasab-an si Rizal. End of Biñan schooling. So end of Biñan schooling so kanang nahumana ang kanang klase ni Rizal. December 17, 1870 so Jose left Biñan. So before ana kay nakadawat pag letter si Rizal na sayang ate na si Saturnina na poleon daw siya. Unya diha murag kanang mingawon pagkadawat ni na na letter ni Rizal ato sa church nagampo niya kuha siya mga pebbles unya pang souvenir unya kanang miadto siya sa iyang mga classmates o teachers para ato pa nang mag farewell or mo goodbye murag mingawon si Rizal sa iyang mga kaila adto sa Biñan. Upon reading the letter, he had a premonition that he would not return to Biñan. So that he became sad. He prayed in the town's church, collected pebbles in the river for souvenirs, and gratefully paid farewell to his teachers and classmates. He left Biñan on Saturday afternoon, December 17, 1870. After 1 year and a half of schooling in that town, he was thrilled to take passage on the steamer Talim. So Talim is a vessel is a steamship. For it was the first time he ever rode on a steamer. On board was a Frenchman named Arturo Camps. So, Arturo Camps kay amigo ni sa Papa ni Rizal, a friend of his father who took care of him. So that's all. Thank you.